Today, we're going to dive into a word you've probably used thousands of times. But what you might not know is that hidden inside this super common word is a clue to this amazing, nearly century-old project that was designed to connect the entire planet. So yeah, the word is rice. Seems about as simple as it gets, right? You see it, you say it, you've definitely eaten it. But as we're about to find out, that simplicity is just the beginning of the story.
So you gotta ask, what secrets could possibly be hidden inside a word like rice? What can this one little four-letter word really tell us about language, communication, and this huge idea from way back when?
Okay, so first things first. Let's start with the absolute basics, just to make sure we're all on the same page. We're talking about the dictionary definition. So if you look it up in the Simple English Wiktionary, which is our source here, you get this: a white or brown grain that people boil and eat. Yep, super straightforward, exactly what you'd think. But, even right here, there's a little linguistic quirk. And this is where it gets kind of cool. See, usually we treat rice as uncountable, right? Like water or sand. You ask for some rice, not a rice. But you can talk about different rices when you mean all the varieties, like jasmine, basmati, arborio. It's a word that kind of plays by two different sets of rules, which is already a little hint that there's more going on beneath the surface. And of course, this word, this concept, is everywhere. It's not just an English thing, obviously. It's a staple food and a staple word for billions of people all over the world. I mean, just think about it. In Japan, rice is so much more than food. It's woven into the very fabric of the culture and the language. In the Arab world, it's the heart of so many traditions and incredible dishes. You go to any Spanish-speaking country, and you'll find these iconic meals all built around it. Even in Russia, it's a totally familiar and common part of how people eat. And of course, in India, it represents this huge, incredibly diverse food culture. So the point is, the idea of rice is universal. It's something we all get. But buried on its English definition page was a tiny clue that led to something completely different. This is where our whole investigation took a sharp turn. While we were looking at the source for this, a tiny little note, almost a footnote, just jumped out. One sentence that blew this whole thing wide open. And this is it. This is the sentence. Rice is on the basic English 850 list. I mean, I read that, and my first thought was, what on earth is that? Which leads to the obvious next question, right? It just sounds so official and specific, the basic English 850 list. What does it actually mean for a simple word like rice to be on some special list? The key is this number 850. It's not a round number like 1,000. It's not 500. It's 850. That kind of specificity, it tells you there's a system here. There's a design. It means rice wasn't just chosen by accident. So let's decode it. That little note about the B850 list, it turns out to be a breadcrumb. And it leads us to this fascinating idea of a language built inside of another language. It turns out Basic English is what's called a controlled language, created way back in the 1930s. The whole idea was to build a simplified but still powerful version of English that could be a tool for everybody, for international communication, for science, for business. And here's the breakdown of how it works, and it's pretty brilliant. First, you have the core vocabulary. The entire system is built on just 850 essential words, and yep, rice is one of them. Second, it uses way simpler grammar, getting rid of a ton of the weird, irregular stuff to make it faster to learn. And third, the whole point, the grand ambition, was global communication, to create a common ground for people everywhere. So, okay, what's the big deal? Why does it matter that rice made the cut and is on this list? Well, it all comes down to the power of simplicity. Think of those 850 words as like a linguistic toolkit. It's a starter pack for communication. By picking a fundamental word like rice, something that people all over the world already understand, the creators of Basic English were basically building a bridge. They were choosing words that stand for core human ideas. The goal was never to replace English, but to offer this clear, super efficient first step into it. And there you have it. That's the whole journey. We started with this one tiny, simple grain of rice, this one common word, and we found out it was actually a hand-picked piece of a much bigger puzzle, a really ambitious project to try and connect the world through understanding. So, I guess the next time you see a really simple word, maybe ask what bigger system it's a part of. Which kind of leaves you with this final thought, right? If we can take something as messy and complex as language and simplify it to connect people, what other big, complex systems in our world could use some of that same brilliant simplicity?